Hey, what's up? It's Rick Dees in the morning. Don't forget to wake up with me right here. But right now, VinnDog.
All right, and then we've got none other than Vin from VinnDoggRadio. What's going on, man? Who are you?
I'll be able to do what I'm doing right now, but at a better level.
Oh, amen. Yep, I can just see myself now out fast fishing with my buddies and listening to VinnDoggRadio on New Jerusalem 101 on the top.
Christopher Palaha, what's up, man?
What's up, big dog?
So please welcome my good friend VinnDog.
Adieu. Let's bring on VinnDog. Vinny, what's cracking, man?
Yeah.
What's going on? We gotta get the applause in there, man. Yeah, gotta get the applause. Not for me, for you, dude. Hey, listen, dude, you're the Captain America here, man. Actually, I'm privileged to be on here with the Captain America for Jesus, baby. This is it.
Yes. Don't let the government be your dad. You are self-governed.
Now here he is, a lover of God, America, and people. Captain America himself, VinnDoggRadio.
Good Tuesday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Yes, indeed, it is VinnDog in house. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this YouTube broadcast. And if you are on Rumble, that's right, if you're on Rumble, please don't forget to follow on Rumble at VinnDoggRadio USA. And if you are on X, formerly known as Twitter, yes, please hit that follow switch. Share it, put this broadcast into the troposphere, because this is all about protecting the children. And today we're going to talk to a school board member from the HEMET Unified School District. And yes, Prado for kids and parents. That's right. He represents the parents because parents' rights are children's rights. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Prado in the house. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Vinny? Hey,
Man.
Hey everybody, how you all doing? Hope you all that's out here is staying dry with all this rain that we're getting.
You would have thought we were in Florida or something, right?
All right, climate change, but it is what it is. You know, just a blessing to get rain out here.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Climate change. I like that one, bro. So, what's the latest and greatest with you, brother? Because the last time I saw you, we were at a meeting at Brother Scott's house.
Oh yeah. Well, since then, if let's roll back to 2023. Excuse me. For school board issues, last year the board we discussed a parental notification. It was just up for discussion and to see if we're going to move forward with further discussion. It wasn't in regards to voting on anything, because if anybody is aware of a lot of things that were happening last year were in regards to parental notifications, and if school districts had a right to notify parents if their child identified opposite of what was on their birth certificate or what the parents thought their child was still going by, when they registered them into school. It was a very good turnout. Thank you to everybody that came out and spoke in support, because it's crazy that we would live in a world where there's certain things that parents can know, and then there's those that think that there's certain things that parents should not know in regards to their own children, whether they're parents, guardians, or caretakers. We should always be aware of everything that goes on with our children. Those are not just, a lot of times they get it confused that they're students. No, they're our children first. That God blessed us with our kids for a reason. And yes, there are certain circumstances where there are children that grow up in situations that are less fortunate. But that doesn't mean that every parent needs to lose their rights when it comes to their children. So like I said, it was back in, I believe it was October. Great, tremendous turnout. Our boardroom, which is probably one of the biggest ones, I've seen, was packed to capacity. They said the lobby was full, and they actually had to open up an overflow room just to accommodate all those that came in attendance from our community. And so we heard a lot of things. So out of all I believe I counted 26 comments from the public, 21 were in support and 5 were opposed. And then the board went to a vote to move forward to see if we want to move it to further discussion. And unfortunately, out of the 7 board trustees, it was a 5-2 vote with 5 noes and 2 yeses. One of the yeses being myself and another board member, Mr. Patrick Searle.
Mr. Patrick Searle, nice guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah, I think him and I talked quite a few times in regards to this. I'm not going to say that he was in support or in opposition of it. I don't know how he would have voted if it came down to a vote, but he actually wanted to have us have an opportunity to move it to a further discussion, because it is a topic, and I know sometimes boards get wary of, because they have a fiscal responsibility, don't want to have any lawsuits come against them, which is understandable. But I think this is something, if you see now moving forward from October, a few months down the road now, we're in February 2024. There is a case, the Chino Valley Unified School District's case against Attorney General Bonta that sued them.
Yeah,
That's coming up for
fun.
that. There's a court case on that. There are those 2 teachers that actually won a court case in Escondido. And then I seen today, and I posted it, that those 2 teachers are now suing the state of California, I believe. And they're suing Newsom and AG Bonta in regards to, they're the ones, the leaders of that try to push this ideology and sending out false narratives of what would happen to superintendents and teachers if they told parents what was going on with their children.
Yeah, and you know what? As a matter of fact, I urge parents also to get behind the teachers to sue Gavin Gruesome and his cronies.
Yeah, parents, parents and community members, you have a big voice, and and I know we do live in a world where it's out of sight, out of mind if it doesn't affect me or if I don't hear anything about it. But you should always attend your school board meetings, and be aware of what's going out, or being taught, or what is being introduced into the school that the state may be forcing down upon school districts. And I know that's what I ran on, is bringing awareness, not just to the board, but to the community. And I really do hope that my constituents and those in HEMET Unified know that I do things from the heart, as a parent of two young ones in public school. I would like to know what's going on, and so the best way for you to do that out there in the community is just go to a board meeting and just sit there. I know it can be kind of boring for some people, but usually some of the things out here in HEMET, I pull from the agenda is to discuss, because I think they're very, very important for the community to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a good brother that I do a Bible study and workout with. His wife actually works in the offices of the HEMET Unified School District, and she was like, "You would not believe the curriculum that they are trying to push upon our children." And I said, "Well, you know what? I believe it, because I'm seeing it every day from the other end of it all, and it just boggles the mind." But that being said, this all started back with, the Rockefellers, and also Andy Carnegie, and John Rockefeller. These people they're Malthusians, and they are the reason why we're in this situation right now. They pushed this agenda for back then.
Yeah, this isn't, I would say for a lot of people, it might be new to them, but this just didn't happen overnight. This has been decades in the making, and it's just all come to fruition of what's going on. Like last year, we also, because the state said that there was a new social science curriculum that we had to adopt, and there's certain educational codes that we have to follow in regards to making it available for a collaborative base of like teachers, community members, parents to get involved in the curriculum, to review it. So it was the last board before I got voted in, approved for this curriculum to be piloted. And so when I did get voted in and I was on the board last year, I actually read all of the it was first through fifth grade social science curriculum, which amazed a lot of the board members, because I read all the textbooks of what was being promoted. And so when we came to vote, I voted against it because I thought it was very inappropriate. And also not just as being inappropriate, it also didn't, because they try to say you have to talk about all the different groups in California. And so those of us that are in California know, especially in Southern California, the majority of people out here are Hispanic and Native Americans. There's a big population, and those were rarely spoken about in the social science. So how are you supposed to be all inclusive and speak about all ethnicities and different groups of people when the two major populations of people are not spoken about in these books? So I voted against it, and you've seen other school boards vote against it, and then the backlash that they got from either the teachers unions or the governor and the attorney general.
Yeah, it's really absolutely heinous what these people are trying to do. They're just like, putting grip guard threats on the school boards, and it is all illegal. It is totally illegal what they're saying to people, and it's illegal what they're trying to do. And then they try to weaponize the California DOJ against parents and other people who speak up for righteousness. Because to be honest with you, when the education system started in the United States, the Bible was in the classroom, if we really want to get technical about it.
Yeah, and yeah, it was, and then, I mean, we can sit there and point fingers, a lot of times we hear it as believers, the church was silent when that happened because they didn't want to get involved with this thing called separation of church and state.
Which we know is a bunch of bull.
We all, and the real reason or the meaning behind it is we all know is that the government can't force one particular religion upon its people. That's what separation of church and state is. But if you look into the California framework of curriculum that needs to be taught, I believe it's chapter 7. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it isn't within the California framework. Religion is supposed to be spoken about on school campuses.
Yes, it is.
It is. And so for teachers that think that they can't speak about that or any particular religion, don't be afraid to talk about your faith, because you are protected. There are certain things that you can't do, like you can't, as an instructor or staff member, you can't pass out Bibles to children or to students, but students can start their Bible clubs. They can have a Christian club. You can be an advisor for that. I've learned that teachers are allowed to, even on their lunch, to have a small group and pray with each other, a Bible study, as long as they're not working. And so they can actually have lessons on it, as long as they don't print out a whole, like give out a Bible like a textbook, but they can print out certain verses and things and discuss how it connects to like history, and also have other passages from maybe other faiths. And studies have shown that when students become aware of their other peers' belief systems, they take on a sense of respect for each other, because they understand why this student maybe look different based off their color of skin. That isn't the only difference maybe between them, but maybe their belief system and how they think. And so you will see that it's more positive discussing things like that within a classroom than banning it or have the fear of not being able to discuss that.
Well, you know what it is, Kenneth, and I have to say this straight out. I believe that the reason why they are rigging the system the way they're doing it right now is because they're afraid that when people start to learn each other's, how do you say it? Learn each other's faith and all this other stuff, they're afraid that these folks might come to common ground, and they can't have common ground with people. They can't have anything civil. It has to be chaos in order for them to destroy it. And they're starting with the children, because they know they can't get the guys like you and I to bend their backs and knees. So they're really trying to bully the kids.
Yeah, they are. Like you said, common ground. We come together, find similars, but what they want to do is cause division. And if you look into education, there's a key word. It's called diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could say, how does that relate to division? Well, you're showing the differences between groups. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where some educators or some school districts may want to push this ideology that students grow up thinking that they're a victim. Like you and I should not be where we're at in today's life, because society has always pushed down on us because of certain people's privileges, or that because we're either black or brown, that we're victims, of a greater cause. And so when you start teaching children and young kids that kind of thinking, then what do you really expect them to ever accomplish something in their life or set goals when they have a mentality that they will always be a victim and be less of than somebody else? No, it doesn't matter. And we all know HEMET in San Jacinto, it's not the most wealthiest, right? We're above the poverty line, I think, a little bit. But so many people that I meet, they're so good-hearted, and they have, aspirations of becoming something bigger than what society dictates that they should be. I'm amazed at how many students I've met that are going to like Division I schools for sports, scholarships, or being accepted to Harvard because they met a certain, grade average and applied and won scholarships. So any students out there, anybody out there thinking just because you were from Hemet or San Jacinto area that there isn't something bigger out there, that's a lie from the enemy. You can accomplish anything you want in your life, but surround yourself with positive individuals that will give you, positive affirmations and support on your goals and on your dreams, and hopefully direct you down the right path.
Absolutely. And you know what? I am a perfect example of living the dream. I mean, when I was growing up, I only had one teacher to tell me that I only had a 1 in 10,000 chance to make it in the broadcast industry, right?
Hmm.
Guess what that teacher was?
What?
A super liberal. A super liberal. And then I have some of these people, well, this guy's going to tell you this, that. I'm like, dude, I've never heard that from anybody else except that one teacher. That
Yeah.
was just a thorn in my side. And it was funny because I said, okay, I guess I'm going to be the one. So years later, I called that school and I told her, I said, oh, guess what? I got a radio gig. She's like, what? I said, wait a minute. First of all, prior to that, I had 2 radio internships. I said, I had a radio internship in Riverside. Oh, wait a minute. And then a year after that, I got a dream internship gig at Kiss FM Los Angeles on the night show. And I got to be mentored by people like Hollywood Hamilton, Rick Dees, and all these other people. Wait a minute. April 1st, 2000, I get a call from a guy who I befriended and I interned for him in the mid 90s out here in Riverside County at KGGI. Boom! Guess what happens? I get the gig. I spent almost 11 years there. And then I went on to do syndicated radio for another 7.5 years. And now I'm doing, kind of like a talk radio type situation, but with video podcasting. I'm like, man, and plus I'm doing it for ministry. I'm also doing it to make people aware of what's really happening. I mean, Kenneth, if I really wanted to, make a ton of money, I could have just stayed in radio, bro. But no, I didn't want to continue to put my soul on the line and, get, sacrificed.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, thank you for what you do. Ever since we first met, I've so many positive things I've heard that you've been able to do and bring awareness, to our, not just our community, but worldwide, on issues that a lot of people are afraid to touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that, kids, you are supposed to dream. God gave us that ability to dream and to be innovators in society. You don't even have to be the biggest influencer in the world, but you can at least be an innovator in your community.
Yes.
And that's what makes a strong village.
It does. It does. I would say too, if there's for anybody out there listening, there's this generation of kids right now that that are in the school that I as a school board member that I met, they have a different way of thinking, and it's kind of amazing. It's some it make your heart feel good because they see a lot of what's been going on. These kids are in school right now, grew up through the what they thought was regular school, then they had to learn how to adapt to COVID, and then distance learning, and then going back to school, and then seeing what's going on, especially in the political realm, because it's everywhere. I mean, they hear it in the home, they hear it at church. Certain things going on. It's in their social media. It's people they follow. It's performers. Everybody talks about it. But there's this young group of kids, I believe, that are in high school right now. I'm not saying they're left or right. I think they are more independent right now
Good.
because they see the madness that's going on and how much hate there is between certain groups of people.
And it's all planned.
But they're seeing it, and they're seeing through all the crap, and like, no, we're gonna pave our own way, and you see young high school groups like Turning Point USA High School, coming out, Christian clubs, Bible clubs, all these different clubs of people. They want a different way, and they're more becoming more conservative or being like what you say, like an old school liberal,
Yeah.
where they want, they think they should help more people. But I see a positive in the new high school generation that's out there right now.
Yeah, they say, God says, man, the rocks are crying out and the kids are speaking out. And I'm going to show you a perfect example of living a dream. So part of my top 40 radio career, I did 7 years of country radio, and I met this guy, Toby Keith.
Hey, country. All right.
Yeah. I did 7 years.
Oh, wow.
I did 7 years of country radio, and I met this guy, Toby Keith. He signed this for me. It was amazing. And he just passed away.
Yes.
So what a perfect time to be talking about things, about living the dream and using what God has given you as a gift. And let me tell you, a lot of these kids have gifts, and I see it. A lot of these young people are smarter than most adults right now, and they get it.
Yeah, they understand what's going on. They might not be able to wrap their head completely around what's going on as adults do and how we think. But they have a pretty good understanding of what the world is and the America that they live in today.
Yeah. And so it's really amazing to me. So, like, I know you're on the front lines at the school board, and I know that there are still teachers in the classrooms that are fighting a good fight, but you just don't hear about it because there is that thing that they have to keep hidden.
I think a lot of times when you hear these hot topics go on, whether it's just kept it within the community, whether it becomes mainstream media and stuff like that, the majority of teachers are awesome. And they're the ones that sometimes are the ones that are left out there as the targets,
Right.
And we know a lot of times teachers unions don't speak for the teachers.
Oh, of course not. They're not created for that.
And there's certain things that a lot of teachers don't believe, should be taught, or certain things that should be kept secret. And so that's why you see a lot of us that did run for school boards. A lot of us do support the teachers, and when you get the teachers that stand behind you, I could count countless emails I've received from teachers and messages just saying, thank you, Mr. Prado. Thank you for being a voice for us. Thank you for saying this, or thank you for bringing awareness. And I know other board members that are newly elected get the same things too. Like, thank you. Finally, somebody is able to have the courage to speak for us.
Exactly. And I've developed the reputation out here in this market. Like, hey man, when it comes to messing with kids, you got a problem with VinnDog. So, and you don't want that problem, folks.
No.
But here's the thing, Kenneth. I think there's other people like yourself, other men and women who are running for school board positions out here that are like-minded, and they think they have the brain capacity to think logically on what the curriculum should be for children and how involved parents should be. Because before all of this Malthusian stuff took place, parents were involved in educating their children, bringing them upright. I mean, man, if my parents weren't involved in my life, bro, I would have been upside down and inside out like a tourniquet.
Oh, yeah. That you have to be, this one's straight. I'm going to speak straight to the parents and the guardians, the grandmas, maybe they're raising the kids. Be involved in your kid's life more than ever nowadays. It doesn't take you that long. And I speak as, for my wife and myself, we are involved in our kids' education 24/7. We, as parents, we have the best access to what's going on in our child's education more than ever. I mean, when we grew up, Only time we got in trouble was whether it was a phone call in the kitchen telephone,
Oh, yeah.
right? Or they called them at work, or they waited to our report card. We have so much parents. You have access to your kids' education, whether it's through teachers' email, whatever app that your school district uses, where you're able to access your students' grades. All of our students now and your children, we all have Chromebooks. Tell your child, let me get your password, check it, what they're doing, see what kind of assignments they have, just review it every night with them, see if they need help. And so yes, it's easy to blame the system, where there's a lot of blame to go around in the system, but also us as parents and guardians and caretakers, we should be as involved in our little ones' lives more than ever. And that is a great help to them, because then they know they can speak to you about things instead of just depending on an electronic device or a teacher that's stuck in a classroom where their hands are tied and how much they can assist. You'd be amazed the education that the state puts on. Like out here, it's a no-no in our home, but our kids think because the school tells them your assignment is, when we were younger, we got an assignment, it was due tomorrow. If that was the due date, no ifs, ands, or buts. If we didn't turn it in, it was an F. A lot of students nowadays, depending on what school district you go to, you get your assignment, but wait, you can turn it in at the end of the semester for full credit.
Wow.
So what precedent are you giving these kids where, one, you're not finishing something when you have a due date on it. You're not being accountable for what your responsibilities are. And my wife says it a lot too. Like, you think that you think you would still have a job if your boss gave you an assignment and you turned it in whenever you wanted? But think how our kids are going to grow up.
Hey, they say being on time is racist now with the CRT.
Oh yeah, that's why you got to be 15 minutes early.
Oh man, it's funny you brought that up. As we were kids, the telephone was on the wall.
Yeah.
I remember when my mom would come and sit in the classroom. That was allowed in the 80s. That was still allowed, right? So whenever my friends in class would hear that my mom's gonna show up, they're like, oh man, Vin's mom's gonna show up, look out everybody. Like, they knew it was time to get in gear because my mom didn't play games.
Yeah. Our parents didn't play games, man.
You're obedient, you're going to listen. And if I have to come to the school when you get in trouble, look out below when you get home.
Oh. Yeah, we live in a different world nowadays. But
yeah, we do live in a different world. So you did an event, and I have this video from last weekend?
Yeah.
Here. These people are hunking up. So what was this all about?
Well, this was, if anybody knew what was going on, there was actually some organizers that started a thing called Take Our Border Back Convoy. And it started, I believe, on the 29th in Virginia Beach. And then those people that got involved went from Virginia Beach to Jacksonville, Florida. I believe they spent the night. Then they went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then after that, they went to Dripping Springs, Texas, because we see what's going on with the border in Texas. Meanwhile, on this past weekend, I believe it was the 3rd, we met up with a lot of individuals, my wife and I, in San Isidro, and they had a big rally there. And so after it was all done, we joined a convoy of just cars, and some campers, as you've seen.
Bro, you should have called me. I would have went with you guys.
Yeah, we drove to Yuma, Arizona. And it was just, American citizens concerned about what's going on the border. And a lot of people think, like we're against humanity or things like that. But it's not that. It's we're against illegal immigration, and we're for, legal immigration. That there should be a process. I mean, we have ports of entry for a reason. And And if you're wondering, like, why would I go to do something like that when it has to do with the borders? Well, you look at the borders when individuals do come into our country and they have children, they have to put them in school, right?
Yep.
And so then that affects the education, because there's certain monies that are used for those that for children that are legally or were born here or legally here. You get money, you get allocated, but when you have a mass immigration coming in, and then the students' population rises, then students are getting certain things and services taken from them. So it does affect the education of our students.
Mm-hmm. Wow, there's a lot of representation going on in here.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of candidates that are running for certain offices there across the country showed up for it. I know the one in Texas, they actually, Ted Nugent performed over there at that one. Sarah Palin spoke, and they had quite good speakers over there. And some of those places actually did, a lot of times it was worship, and they actually did a baptism in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was more of like trying to do a spiritual awakening to people, and hopefully to get people motivated and bring awareness of what's going on. And then I don't know if you good with me like sharing another person's YouTube channel on this.
No, please do, and have them come on too.
Yeah, so if anybody's out there and you really want to see like something different than mainstream media, what you show at the border, because it is a big issue, because it does affect us, and you see the crime rates happening, the homelessness, what's going on in our communities. Please check out my brother. His name is Josh Fulfer, and you check him out on YouTube, X, and Rumble. And the name of his channel, especially on YouTube, is called The Oreo Express. Him and another guy, Joe, he is First Responders Media. So it's The Oreo Express and First Responders Media. They actually were at the border last night, and I was able to catch their video this morning. If you want to see some on-the-ground, live, independent media streaming of what's really going on at the border, I literally watched, in real time, these people, they're called NGOs, like non-government officials or organizations. They are benefiting off of human trafficking, and they are benefiting off child sex trafficking, because these are ran by organizations like cartels and certain organizations, and then there's these nonprofit organizations that have 501c3s that will sit there and benefit off federal money. But really what you're doing is being the supplier for human trafficking. And I was watching last night, because there was a big gap in the border, and all these people were lined up. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie with Will Smith called I Am Legend.
Yeah.
He's in a town, a big city, and everything's gone. He's by himself, and then he encounters these people that live inside buildings, but they're all huddled, they're all huddled in a circle, inside the dark room. That's what it looked like. Like, you had all these people, these migrants that are now on the U.S. side, and there was hundreds of them, and then Border Patrol pulls up, and you see them running to get to the Border Patrol, and it blew my mind. That there are actually people out there that are paying money, to help these people out. And yes, a lot of them did look like they need help, but they get mixed up in this whole thing of what's going on. At the end of the day, that's why we need legal immigration, because, they say, I forgot what the number is, there's over 80,000 children that they don't know where they're at, that have come into our country.
Yes, it is. It's well over 80,000 right now. I'd say it's a lot higher.
Exactly. Like, they don't have the exact numbers, but please, people, just pray, and for those of us that are believers, you ever wonder why America is never mentioned in the end times?
This is it.
This could be the moment, but it's just amazing. Yeah, so check them out, support them. They're independent media. They do everything through donations, so check them out if you'd like to get some good things some good views of really what is going on at our border. And they travel the United States back and forth all the time, and you get some really good coverage.
Wow, I like to talk to these guys, man. That's pretty cool. So let me ask you this: so is there anybody that's like running for a school board position that you think is verifiable, or somebody to get behind?
Right now, no. I'm being honest. because everybody's more focused on the primary coming up for the big seats. I think school boards. There's probably some candidates, but not locally. There's probably some candidates that are running. Getting their name out there. But I think those things kind of more kick in after March.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're more localized. They're not as big as much fundraising and stuff that these congressional seats or assembly seats need.
Man, and I think sometimes these seats get too much money.
Yeah, it's all about money now.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been blessed, to endorse a few candidates that are actually running for some seats. I was and it's kind of weird, as being an elected official. To people ask me now for an endorsement. It's kind of it's an honor. So I've been blessed to endorse Mr. Ron Edwards.
Yes.
He is running for Assembly Seat 60. He's going against Corey Jackson. Corey Jackson is the current Assembly member for our area out here that is a big proponent of passing
that dude is woke.
Legislation to to keep some of these books and curriculum in the schools. And so he he is somebody that if you want good education for your kids, you're probably not the right man to sit here and make decisions. He aligns with a lot of individuals up in Sacramento like Scott Wiener, Buffy Wicks, A.G. Bonta, all of them. And then so it's Mr. Ron Edwards, and then the other one is for County Board of Supervisors, Jack Guerrero.
Okay.
I endorsed him, and then also just recently this past weekend, because if anybody knows me, I'm a man of not just listen to somebody because of words, but action. And so this individual had asked me for an endorsement over a month ago, and then I seen her this past weekend in Yuma. And so my wife and I approached her and was blessed to endorse Ceci Truman for the congressional seat. I believe it's District 25. Because out of a lot of people that I do know, I actually seen her as something, that's very important, to what's going on, because she is part of one of those border counties, or her district is in one of those areas, with especially what's going on with immigration.
Yeah. It's very vital that we get involved and know who's who. Ron Edwards, super nice guy.
Yes.
Corey Jackson, that guy is flip-flopping, man. He is inside out hardcore. He has some of the weirdest things on his agenda. Yes, and he does line up a wiener dude, big time.
Yeah. I seen him. He was out here at HEMET Library, did a town hall, which was, they make their rounds, and they asked some questions, and I even asked them. I said, so last legislative session, you were asked a question by our Senator Rosalia Cholobo, and about this book that his mom read to you, and why you're trying to push this assembly bill. And she asked you if you read it, and you said, no, you hadn't read it yet. And so my question to him was, well, have you read it yet? He's like, well, actually, I did read it. And yes, it's sex education. And I know that was a lie, because that's not what sex education is. What you find in these books is it's crazy what some of these books that you find in. So they will say we're trying to ban books, but no, we're trying to find books and remove books that are not appropriate for young ones, for their eyes to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want young kids seeing these things, man. I really don't. So I'll come out and say it. I'm against all of that junk, because that's what it is. It's all poison to keep the kids, I don't know, man. It's crazy. So this is an example on why you need to protect your children. And I'm going to show you this video. And I want you guys to be utterly amazed right now, because
let's have a conversation about teaching LGBTQ plus inclusion in classrooms. Now, one of the things that myself and other queer teachers have noticed is that a lot of the labor of teaching this, of hosting the clubs and all these things, falls on the out and queer teacher at the school. And I say out because obviously there are a lot of people that teach that are not going to share that part of them, and that is totally fine and valid. This, though, is where I have a problem with all of this. The labor should not be put on queer teachers to do all this. When we say inclusive curriculum, we mean the entire curriculum in every single classroom, K through 12.
Wow. Just wow. Every curriculum, K through 12, he wants to be inclusive with all this.
Yeah, who deems what inclusive is?
Yeah, exactly. He said he wants all of the LGB, the alphabet mafia stuff included in the curriculum, every single piece of it from K to 12. These
Yeah, I mean,
people have a sickness.
that way that lifestyle is part of culture now. But I speak to a lot of students, and they even say, like, we don't care about this stuff. Like, it's just I'm not laughing at it's funny, but you just one thing I've learned, we as adults, we look at things a certain way, but our children, they grew up in this world, so it's not new to them, but they feel as though there's certain individuals that are constantly trying to push it on them, a different belief system, to have to accept something that maybe they don't believe in. And if you don't, then you're looked down upon. Just like out there right now is it's called Protect Kids California. So if nobody's heard of that, it's protectkidscalifornia.com. You can find them on X. They actually have a website, protectkidscalifornia.com, like I just said. And go there. What it is you have a board member and an attorney have gotten together, and what they have done, they try to put 3 separate initiatives, and they put it onto, actually they got blessed and got into one initiative. You'll see it right now, and you can go to that website and actually sign the paperwork. I'm having a blank in my mind. What do you call it when you sign the petition? Excuse me.
Petition.
Sign the petition. What it is, and it's actually some of the top funders for January was Bill Asaley, and then you have Riley Gaines. If everybody knows Riley Gaines, she was an NCAA swimmer that had to swim against Leah Thomas,
the original champion.
Yeah, and then there's also Chloe Cole, the detransitioner. And what this initiative is there's so much what they deem like so much legislation going on in Sacramento that the majority of people in California don't feel this way or think this way, right? So they're like, let's leave it to the voters, because statistics show these are nonpartisan issues, and the 3 initiatives that will be on there is protect women's sports in high school, that in women's sports in California, let girls play with girls, because they're the victims in all of this also.
They're the major victims in this.
What happened to women's rights? What happened, to all these things that all these trailblazers did for women in sports, and to do things in what they deemed as being equal to men, to now have to sit there and give that up, and all these women's sports athletes, like scholarships being taken away, from them and from going to college. So there's protect women's sports. Also, there is a parental notification that parents should be notified of everything that happens with their child, even when it comes to gender. And the third one is to, I believe, it's to make it illegal in California for minors to get gender affirming care. So if they collect the I think it's 5.5 or more, 550,000 signatures, a little bit more than that, by the end of March or April, I believe, and they get approved by the Secretary of State, then it will be on the November ballot, and leave it to the voters to vote on things like this. And you will see, a lot of people disagree with some of the things in legislation that is out there.
Yeah, the majority of Californians disagree with a lot of this nonsense. So
they do.
It's insane, man. So yeah, we really need to really start pushing these people that are really trying to stand up for what's right. I mean, a moral compass is more important than anything right now.
Yeah, it is sad that we, the times that we live in, that we never think that we're sitting here fighting for things that we just thought was a God-given right. It is amazing, and it's like it's on all fronts. We're getting hit and bombarded on all these different angles of all these different things all the time. Every day you wake up and hear something new on the news, you know. And so just to everybody out there, just stay strong, you know, stay prayed up, you know, and just do your best, you know, which, like you said, a moral compass.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think that it's vital right now, everybody, that you go and support your local officials that are trying to do the right thing. Because if you don't, they're kind of like alone standing on an island full of wolves that are just ready to pounce on them. So I think it's important that everyone gets involved. You know, even if you're not a parent, you just have a moral value and you know that God's called you to get involved, get involved. Don't sit on your hands and do nothing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
you know, like Vinny was saying, just continue supporting your local candidates, especially those that you voted in. You know, some we get caught up sometimes in the moment, and then that enthusiasm and support kind of fizzles out. Um, like right now, you know, it's like it's a downtime, but that's what happens in politics. But continue supporting them, because sometimes they do feel, I know, like I'm here, you all got me in, and you turn around and like, where's everybody at? You
Yeah.
know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of them think, oh, I got my person in there, but I like myself, I'm not going to stop doing what I do, and bringing awareness, and voting for things I believe is right. You know, but sometimes I sit there, you know, and I feel like I'm the crazy school board member, you know, because I sit there and bring things up, just that crazy guy, you know, and they have to deal with me for 3 more years.
And then we'll add another 3 to it. Another 3 to 5 to it.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah. So Kenneth, let everybody know how they could support you too, brother.
You can support me. You can always email me at my district email for school board, which is kprado. So it's KPRADO at HEMET, HEMET USD.org. Or you can just follow me on social media. On Instagram is Prado for Parents of HUSD. That's PRADO, the number 4 parents, PARENTS of HUSD. And
All
come out to
right,
school board meetings. Yeah, whatever area you're in, you all have a school district. Find out when your meetings are. You don't have to say nothing. Just sit there, try to observe what's going on, and maybe you'll find the courage to speak up in public meeting, or during the public comment, and see what's being voted on, and just ask questions. I continuously, I continuously get emails, you know, from parents asking me questions, and just tell me thank you for responding to them. That's what, you know, a lot of parents and community members want to at least know, that their emails are being read. So to all board members, respond to your constituents when they send emails to you.
Well, I know you respond to your constituents.
I try my
So-
best. I try my best. Yes. It might not be right away. It might be 1 or 2 days later. And if I can assist in that, I always direct them in the email to who to reach out to, and because we all have different trustee areas. But it's amazing that some people reach out to me, you know, and ask me to assist them in certain things also.
All right. Well, you know what, Ken? You got to get to the family, brother. So, you know, you got to keep fighting a good fight. We got to finish the race together. And do you mind if I pray us out, brother?
Oh, for sure. Go ahead.
Father, in the name of Jesus, I just thank you for this time that you've given us. And I thank you for good brothers like Kenneth who stand for righteousness in the midst of all of this war that we're in the middle of. But, you know, it's always, you know, said that, you know, the race is already finished. We just have to continue to stand until you deliver us from all of this that is going on in this terrible world, Lord. And we just want to protect the children, Lord, because you call us to protect the children. You call us to speak up for the voiceless. So we just ask you to go before us and just raise up good leaders, Lord, and continue to raise up men to be leaders in their homes also, and also to be leaders in their communities. We ask you to do all of this and go before us and bless us throughout the rest of this year in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, people, everybody, take care of one another, love each other. We will see you soon, huh?
All right, everybody.